Hello folks and welcome to my review of One Piece chapter 992. It's been 3 weeks since the last chapter. I think we all know the reason why. The most important thing Oda is finally back in good health. So hence we got this chapter and we got it officially released earlier than usual. But this chapter is solely focused on Kaido versus the Scabbards outside of a couple of pages. That's what this chapter focuses on. And I have to say, like, Oda is doing a good job of hyping up the Scabbards. The previous chapter ended with Kinemon cutting the fire blast from Kaido, and then actually cutting Kaido with his sword with Rio, which we get more clarification on in this chapter. Plus, more of the Scabbards get their shot at Kaido. There was a statement by Oda that he hopes to get to chapter 1000 before the end of the year. Obviously, that's probably not going to happen, but the most important thing is he's in good health. But the fact that he wanted to get to chapter 1000 probably means he has something big in store for 1000. So I already speculated that that was definitely going to be the case anyway, even before this. But there's a lot of people speculating what it might be. Will it have something to do with Wano? Will it have something to do with 1 or 2 Yonko? Or will it have something to do with the world building aspect of One Piece, which Oda pretty much teased back at Jump Festa last year when he said something may go down where we find out what happened to Vivi, Boa, Hancock, and Sabo. We'll have to wait and see. I'm hyped to see what Oda has planned. That being said, we go through this chapter and we still have 8 more left to go, less than 8 more to go before then, before we reach that milestone. And we see the Straw Hats. Well, there's a cool color spread of the Straw Hats. The way I took the color spread, it feels like some type of foreshadowing, especially what they're on. So we see the Straw Hats, all 10 of them, which is nice because Jinbei's finally being included, chilling out on the sea train, which gives me huge Water 7 Enies Lobby vibes. That's pretty cool. But the thing to note here is they're on the sea train, and obviously it looks like the Straw Hats having fun. But the two things, look at the sea train, if you look at the background, there's clearly a picture of a building, and it looks like a palace, and it looks very similar to that of a Japanese feudal law building, a palace, or a palace that we've seen in Wano. So look at it very clearly, you can clearly see that's what it looks like. So I don't know if that's indicating them after Wano or being away from Wano on the sea train, or if we're going to get a scene like this in the future. But that'd be pretty cool. And the other thing to note is Zoro has his swords while he's eating ramen, which is out of the entire Straw Hats, what Straw Hats are casually, they either drinking or they're eating food, but it's very, very clear that Zoro's the one with a bowl of ramen, which Zoro's been heavily featured within Wano. Like, and if you look at the swords, obviously he has 3 swords plus Emna. Zoro is what's going to take place after Wano, but it looks like if that's the case, Zoro's going to permanently inherit Emna post Wano, which would be pretty cool. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking this. And the other thing to note is, like, you see the seagulls, like the seagulls we get spreading the newspapers around. Something that's going to happen with the Straw Hats, either before they leave Wano or after they leave Wano, they're going to get the news of what's going on at the Revelry, similar to what we got after Whole Cake Island. Or they're going to get that news after the battle's concluded, and they've had that feast, the biggest feast that Luffy teased for welcoming Jinbei. But will they be in a party mood? Because I get the feeling that somebody's going to die by the end of Wano. So, and it could happen sooner rather than later. So, speaking of Whole Cake Island, we have Big Mom who's confronting Perospero, and the other thing to note is, like, I don't see any of the other Big Mom pirates. And the thing to note is, like, obviously Perospero having various doubts about this alliance with Kaido. Big Mom says that was her idea, which is interesting. And Perospero actually trying to manipulate or let's talk Big Mom into, I don't know, betraying Kaido, because she says, you want to become king of the pirates. And Big Mom's like, I know this. Don't you kids trust me? Which again is teasing a betrayal. And then immediately we see Marco, who's looking in on this conversation and fat talking Marco by putting down Whitebeard. Oh, I thought you would have learned by now, putting your hopes in whippersnappers like the Straw Hats. And I love Marco's comeback here, because it's like, so do you think Pop's his voice is binding our will. Like, no, everyone who's left is free, and they're free to follow Luffy because that's how the formula goes. And interesting, despite the color spread, Luffy's the only straw that gets featured in this chapter. And which is pretty cool because Big Mom looks pissed after that. It's like, oh, that's right, dead men give no orders. Do as you will. So I don't know what that means. If she's going to leave Marco, or if there's actually going to be a fight. But obviously, there's going to be no alliance between Perospero and Marco, at least for the most part. Carrot immediately states to Wanda, "Listen, I'm going after Perospero because I want to avenge Pedro." So that's pretty cool. So she's going for Pedro, which also explains why she hasn't gone in Sulong form yet. So hopefully she's going to rip his ass apart. So we'll see. We'll get to see what Carrot can do. I do find it interesting that Carrot's no longer with Nami. So that's pretty interesting. So she's by herself, which is good because I want to see Carrot in a 1v1 anyway. Inside the castle, and we obviously Yamato chasing after Momonosuke and Shinobu. So obviously they're freaked out by Yamato. But I said in my last chapter we probably might get to see Black Maria on the battlefield. We do get to see Black Maria, but she's yet to go on the battlefield, which I hope she does because we need to see what she can do. Unless she's going to be the one to switch sides. I don't know. But it looks like she's got a female harem because the girls, like, they're going crazy over her. Singing a song, which is interesting because Black Maria's in the role of Hiyori / Komurosaki, because at the beginning of the Wano, it was Komurosaki, the one who was playing the song. This is a different song, by the way, it looks like. But Black Maria, in all her glory, playing the song while all this carnage is taking place. I was kind of hoping that Robbie was going to sneak up on her and actually say, "Oh, how you doing over there?" Looks like we're not going to get that just yet. But as the song's playing, we see the Scabbards charging at Kaido. Kaido charging at the Scabbards. He's throwing another. He's like screeching. But out here he's not using his fire breath. He's using lightning. He just not. It looks like he knocks them back with a screeching roar, and then they know it's like it turns to his roaring turns to lightning. So that's interesting. So it's not just fire, but it looks like the red Scabbards are okay. They can block up defense, and then before Kaido's about to charge his attack, out of nowhere, in comes Nekomamushi, and Speedless is right beside Kaido and just nails him with a Crimson Cat dance. That was badass, and I pretty clear the reason why Oda didn't want to show too much against their fight with Jack. It does put Jack down a peg by having it off screen, but at the same time, it's clear he was saving this hype for Kaido. So I don't know if Jack's going to come back into the fray against Nekomamushi in Inuyasha, but this definitely hyped up the Minks plus the Scabbards. After Nekomamushi gets his attack in comes Kawamatsu. Kappa style, River of Sea. I love this attack. It looked like it nailed Kaido, and the Beast Pirates are looking on and say, "Oh, their attacks are hurting Kaido." And it's pretty clear, pretty evident they're using Rio, which we already knew. Kaido just knocked Kawamatsu back into some buildings or some rocks, so that's pretty cool. So Kaido bounces up back, and that's just my point. Kaido bounced back fairly quickly, despite the fact they're using Rio. Then it comes Inuyasha with his new blade attached to his leg, because obviously it got severed by Jack, which is cool because it's a throwback, because it's kind of like, hey, here's some payback for what you did, for what your subordinate did on Zoe. So here you go, pretty cool. Then we get this sibling duo tandem attack, which I love because which is something I've been calling for with Izo and Okiku. Combining the attacks against Kaido, the landing, the fallen snow slicing rounds, which is Kaido's like enough nonsense. None of their attacks bear seem resemblance to Oda, so he's put them down even though their attacks are landing, but it's not doing any significant damage until the end. Throw another blast breath, but then here comes Rizo. This is, like I said, this is hyping up the Scabbards for sure. Like it's clear a lot of us underestimated the Scabbards. We knew they're strong, but I don't think we underestimated their. I think we underestimated their abilities and what they could actually do, not strength-wise, what they could actually do. Because Rizo, holy shit, he comes up with probably the most surprising attack out of all of this. So he uses scrolling jutsu, and he wraps Kaido in a scroll, and uses Kaido's attack he's going to use on the Scabbards to like use on himself. So he's like, it's called Restoration. Using Kaido's attack on himself to give him more damage. Get a flashback to where the Scabbards are like with Odin, see little Momonosuke and Hiyori in the background with Toko. Didn't want to learn two sword style because the reason Toko brings it up is like they're going to train. It seems like they're already training Rio, but Odin two sword style, the greatest there is. Why won't they learn it? Obviously, I think Momonosuke is the one asking that, and the reason why Toko says a great big fight over who will be your foremost disciple. They love you so much they would kill each other for it. That's why they didn't get taught it. But we find out they clearly do learn it. They obviously got taught Rio. They're pairing the swords, they're taking the stance, and each of them are bearing two sword style, which is cool. So a reference to Odin, obviously. Panel the flashback where they're learning about Rio, which also explains why they're able to do so much damage to Kaido. You're wasting your time with this imitation, and then out of nowhere they all attack Kaido in the same spot. Odin left this mark on Kaido, left a scar on Kaido. They attack the same spot. So they obviously look at Kaido's eyes. They're white, but he's not. If you notice, it looks like it's the same technique that Odin used. Paradise Totsuka, all of them combined, and they left that mark on Kaido. Once again, the spirit of Odin lives on for the Scabbards, and this is going to do one or two things. Either piss Kaido off to no end, because I don't think this is going to KO Kaido. That'd be crazy if that did. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. So either it's just going to piss Kaido off because the amount of trauma that he's been getting through this skirmish with the Scabbards is going to be crazy. Or it's going to hopefully maybe trigger a flashback for Kaido. It was withstanding these attacks. Yes, it was all landing. It looked like it was doing some damage when Odin initially gave Kaido his scar with this similar attack. So I don't know what's. I don't see them bringing down Kaido because that'd be nuts. But I do see this fight wearing down Kaido enough to where Luffy steps in. There's going to be somewhat of hope because you're going to get the Supernova Alliance plus Luffy and Zoro, and there's no reason why Zoro can't do something significant damage to Kaido. If this is what we're getting from the Scabbards, what we saw from Kinemon in the previous chapter, again, there's no reason why Zoro can't do something to Kaido either, especially since he has Emna. I've been saying this ever since. Like, you talk about trauma. If Zoro uses an attack, the Supernova are joining up. That would technically be, shouldn't that involve Zoro as well? I know he's going to fight King, but it'd be kind of cool if that includes him as well. Because I also get the feeling that Killer is also going to get involved because he needs some retribution, especially what happened to him. We're going to have to get to see the blowback of what happens with Kaido and the Scabbards next. I don't know what this means for Jack. He's like Carrot going up against Perospero, Marco, and coming into town, so I don't know what he's going to do. But that speech he gave means he's obviously going to help Luffy. What the hell's Big Mom going to do? One of you guys down below. There's going to be some people that have a problem with this, hardcore Kaido fanboys. But I think this is just the case of us really underestimating. And the thing about it wasn't just one Scabbard that just pierced Kaido and they're attacking the scar that Odin left. So that's going to do some damage. But it's all of them attacking, not just one. Scabbards, single individually, because they're all been hyped up, and now they're using Rio plus the initial attacks anyway to do Kaido through Rio. And it's obviously the importance of Rio. It cannot be disputed. The fact that Luffy can do it, I'm pretty sure Zoro's going to be able to do it. They could probably do some damage also to Kaido. We'll see where that goes. Like I said, I think this is going to be the turnaround for what happens with Kaido against the Scabbards. Like it looks promising now, but I definitely see it turning around. So that's going to do it for today, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Like the review if you did. Leave that thumbs up. I appreciate that. Helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.